G'day everyone, and welcome back to me getting shot a lot by a lot of drones from last time. I figured, apart from the potential epileptic-inducing issues, wow, that's a lot of bullet holes in the ground. This would be a fun way to come back. What the? Oh, I think a drone just hit me when it crashed. So, trying to remember where I was up to. Yes, it's raining lead. Hallelujah, it's raining lead. So, we've tested to make sure that the bases are doing some of their behavior. And I've now reset the timers so that their cooldowns are adequately long. The War and Peace triggers should be in the 40 and 80 minute range, yep. And then the Peace one's a bit shorter, yep. So that's all working. The other piece of the puzzle that I hadn't tested yet was making sure that the correct things were happening as I went toward specific bases. So I'll probably test the civilian one again just to make sure that it is working how I intended it. But I believe it. We did sort of already test that one, so it should be fine. Let's delete that. Yes. And then I'll load up my regular ACS testing one that's got all the other mods that I wanted on it. Then after this, I need to remind myself how to do the loot profiles, because then we're going to be messing with loot profiles, because once I've got a few loot profiles set up, I can set up that loot to be spawned on the ships in specific ways. So what I was going to do was for the for the data pads, where I'm not needing an exact specific data pad, where I can just have one that fits within a certain class, I was going to put... Wait, can I put them as loot profile? I don't think I can, actually. Nuts. But I was going to put, like, loot profiles for some basic tools and that, and little bits of ammo and little bits of random bits of ore for certain things, so that even though you won't find much, you'll at least find something in the cargo containers. Because I think one of the things that a lot of people didn't like, and that I can understand why they didn't like it about the way I did ACS, was that cargo ships don't have cargo. Right, score is 50. Let's get our eligible spawns. And so I figure if I give them some very low value cargo, at least people know that there is cargo in there, and it's intended to be next to nothing. It's not just missing. And yeah, it'll help make the world feel a bit more lived in and real, which is kind of the whole idea here. All right, let's check out this research base number 41. Spawn planetary installation. Okay, we're 3Ks out. Let's just check what this one's supposed to do. 41. This is a civilian behavior. The civilian behavior... We can close War and Peace because it's done. Do I have civilian open? I don't think I have civilian open. Let's open it up. AI base. Oh, easy civilian. Okay, so the civilian one should have a Trigger at 1800 meters, which will just give a chat. A trigger at a kilometer, which will give a chat and a spawn. And a trigger if I'm an enemy at 600, which will give a spawn. And more chat. So 1800, 1 kilometer, 600. Because I'm pretty sure they hate me in this one. Oh yes. They do not like me. And 1800. Chat only. No spawn. Make sure. Entity list. Yep, no spawn. And 1 kilometer. More chat and a mayfly. And 600, more chat and a mayfly. Perfect. Come on. There we go. Just making sure that that was actually working. Pause that they have when they first spawn in is disconcerting. Alright, so the civilian one. Now... Huh. I actually got... I forgot this was chance based and it actually happened that time. That was kind of convenient. That's good. I didn't have to crank its chance up to test it. All right, so civilian behavior is as expected, and we know that this max player reputation works because it does work on a player near trigger. So, done with civilian behavior. Let's get on to easy behavior. So, these will spawn... What's one that's got an easy? Civilian, ammo easy. Watcher base 76, threat score minimum 80. And I really need to put somewhere this threat score command so that I don't have to keep finding it where I keep finding it. Fine, I'll put it in the assertive to do thing. Ah. Let's do that. Minus 90. Let's check our eligible spawns. Yeah, 90. Oh, maybe those Watcher bases are the first ones. Was that the one I was just looking at? Oh yeah, Watcher 76. Cool, let's check this out. Slash yes dot spawn plunger installation dot that one. Oh, it just called in the... It just called in the cargo ship. Cool. That's going to confuse things though, so let's get rid of it. So this one at present, how is it set up? So we have a trigger at 2,500 meters, which will do chat only. 1,400 meters, which will do a spawn. And then we have our war things separately. And we have a 734 meters enemy one. So 700, 1,400, and 2,500. So 2,500. Got our chat command. That one would also have called in assistance from nearby bases, which we've checked does work. Then we go 1400. Run into a tree. 1400 and we have a drone. And 700 and something. Yep, we got another drone. Okay, cool. That is all working as intended. Does that mean I've... So, you guys who are here in chat at the moment... Yes, TFE, you joined to see me in a tree. Did you join as I crashed into the tree and knocked it over? Because that would have been even more fitting. Oh, why is there a little fruit fly in here? Go away. Or die, whichever. Trying to think, is there any other behavior I want to add that's a little bit... that's simple like what I'm doing at the moment? I don't want to add anything complex, but I'm just wondering if... just trying to think if there's anything else I wanted to do with these bases. What did I have as my... things for my to-do list? Create thruster carrying versions. Have cargo ships stopped by bases. Done. Have cargo ships and bases able to trigger responses from each other. Done. Add jetpack inhibitors to military and high difficulty captures. Haven't done that. Drill disabling. Have removed that from a lot. Remove war mode from research stations. Yep, done that. I'm going to have to balance the frequency of ships. And I can't add data pads to a randomizer. I think. Unless you think that... unless that's changed, TFE. I didn't think I could put data pads on the random loot tables. So that means I now need to figure out my loot profiles again. What I kind of should look at, and I might just do this in-game to give myself a clearer idea of what I'm doing, is what are the loot groups that I want? I come in and see a screen full of code. My brain exploded. My brain exploded during Stationeers, so don't feel too bad. I was doing actual coding in it. Well, at least as actual as it gets in games. My brain was exploding. Oh. That was a tough one. Found that one real tough. Let's have a look at my loot profiles. We don't need our behaviors open anymore. They're done. The easy ones anyway. We'll look in the chats later. Okay, how on earth did I do the loot things? Stationeers exploded my brain several years ago and I haven't had the courage to try it again. It's fun. You don't have to get into the super hard stuff. Like, I've gotten to a point where the main gameplay of Stationeers, I've gotten enough of a handle of it that I can break it down into this controlled chunks that make it easy, make it attackable. But once I got into the code, I was really struggling today. I'm gonna make up an excuse for myself and say it was because I was really tired, but it was just because I was really struggling. Loot profile, manipulation profile, loot profile. So MES loot, container block types, my object are large block containers, large block small, large block lockers, large block small containers, thruster loot atmo, minimum blocks, maximum blocks, match name. Okay. So in theory, my thruster loot was working. Now, where was I defining what was in that loot? So this defines what blocks it goes into. That's container types. Where did I actually define what the loot was? Yeah. Where did I? Because that's the loot profile file that I had. Where did I define? Where did I put it? Ah, container type. Here we go. It's this bit. So the loot profile uses these container block this container types. So the container types is this, which has got all of the things that are the components. Cool. All right, let me just check something. Bubbly Bertha. And we get rid of the Mosquito. And we check in the cargo. Does anything say loot? No, because I don't know that I did the Bubbly Bertha's renaming. I can't remember which ships I've actually done some of the renaming on. Alright, I'm gonna have to load up a different save. Been here. Been that. Yeah, Killed90, if you don't have I think it's a common problem that people run into with Space Engineers. They love it, but their friends are a bit if you've been watching for a while, you might have seen me play Space Engineers with the guys from Hat Films. They were kind of in the same boat. Trot, the guy who contacted me to ask if I'd come along and help them out for a stream, he was really, really loving the game, but he was struggling to get the other guys to enjoy it. And I think the idea of finding servers that other people play on as a way to find friends who play Space Engineers isn't a bad one. I think it's a tough one, though. Tough to find people to play with. As to joining the series, that's really something I do. I really only have people that I trust for that sort of stuff, who I've played with, who I've known in the community for a while, because it's too easy for people to overreach with what they're trying to do in that stuff and completely destroy the experience for the people watching, and it's their experience which is most important to me. As you might have noticed, there were still times when the bots accidentally destroyed more than they intended to, but so it's not something I just open up to people. It's something that I usually seek specific people out for, rather than having as an open casting call sort of thing. The guys who've joined me have all been in the community for a few years, and I've hung out with, and the ones we started with were actually the Discord moderator group. Humboldt. I think I've done the Humboldt. Let's see. Thruster storage. Now, I think I want to rename... Yeah, that's right. I did thruster storage, and then I decided to rename it to these things, and I haven't actually put these renames onto the things. Yeah. It's why I'm trying stuff like the Arc server and that side of things, because I think that might be a good way to find some more people who can help out with these projects. Have some fun together. That's right, I was going to go tool storage for... Okay. I think what I should do, rather than going in and renaming all these things on all these grids right now and then having to update all of the profiles, let's just think about what the loop profiles should contain. So... let's kind of grab... I'm just going to kind of lay this out as blocks with what sort of block things we might need, we might want to put in each thing, and then I can use this as kind of a memory aid for what's going to be where. So let's start with the easy stuff. Got weapon racks. Some of the ships will have weapon racks, so we can decide what goes in them. And they could probably be the same as what goes in an armory. And armory lockers sort of blocks. Lockers have more options of things that can go in them, so they'll have a different loot profile. That's those blocks. What other blocks do we have? We've got our freight containers. But I don't think freight can have loot profiles, can it, TFE? No, TFE, the most recent edition is Nev. Not you. But I mean, before you ever played any Space Engineers with us, you played Rocket League with Capac and I. I think the freight containers didn't work because they don't count as a cargo. So there's something weird. They're like the engineer bodies. So I think... Yeah, I think that kind of makes it for the block types. And then we can have a few different loot profiles for putting in cargo. So I can put a couple of different suffixes on the cargo names. So what I'm thinking of doing is like little codes like this that'll say... If you pay attention, you'll learn what is in each one, but it really doesn't matter. It just means that when you look through the ship's control panel, you'll find different things in there, but they won't be bleedingly obvious what they are. It's just be these codes and stuff. Killed 90. No, I was talking about this in the last stream. I have decided not to put, for the majority of my grids, not to put any jetpack inhibitors or drill inhibitors. There will be some that have them, but most won't. So this one, let's call it 6. Yeah, 6D-ACS. So 6D will be like tools and stuff. In fact, let's make 2 different locker profiles. Oh, actually, no. We'll have 1 locker profile. We shouldn't need to have... So what I'm thinking for this... Okay. So these things, let's put in the box what I think we should have, just so that it's an easy way to remember it all. Let's have no elite tools. Enhanced grinder, yes. Whoops. Enhanced grinder, enhanced drill, some basic MR20s, some enhanced welders, and I'll put power kits in these. No. Okay. I'm curious. I've seen a few people do a exclamation lurk. What do other people have as a... Is that like, do other people have that as a command? Or is that something that you're just doing to let me know that you're there, but you're just not gonna chat for a bit? I'm genuinely curious, not trying to call people out. I am not knowledgeable of such things. Let's put an MR50A. Oh, why do I keep spawning it instead of spawning container? MR50A, MR50A magazine, MR20 magazine. I think that's all that we need to put in there. FYI only, not a command. Cool. Yeah, I thought it was just a little thing. I just wasn't sure. Okay. I think that's enough random things that could happen, that could get put in these crates. And I'll probably have a random 2 of these things. So you may end up getting 1 of these rifles and a drill, or a grinder and 1 of these pieces of ammo. That sort of thing. Then for the... What do I want for the lockers? Lockers, I think... Do some of the tools again. And... For them, let's go med kit. Power kit. And... Medkit, power kit. I think maybe construction components. And computers. Hey, Even. Hey, Zarokti. Hey, Tagalux. Yep, TFE. Nightbot says it, so it must be true. Half tempted to give people plushies. No, the organics is a normal... Organics is a baseline space engineers thing. It's just not used anywhere. Right. So we've got that one. Then we have our cargo for the assert stuff, which I'll just shove in there. So that's 1 loot profile for cargo container. That one we're going to call... Oh, wait. We're going to have an Atmo and an Ion one, are we? This one's... So 7H ACS is Atmo. Let's... 7H ACS is Atmo. Let's call this one... 4F. I'm just coming up with random letter number combinations. There's no intended meaning to them. So that'll be Atmo stuff. And then we've got our ion stuff, which is 8 HACS. Then we have one last group, which will be random bits of ores and ingots and stuff like that. Whatever I decide I want to put in there. So, you know, any of that sort of stuff. And we'll call that one...2M. So the reason they're tagged with the ACS is just so it doesn't mess up anyone else's loot profiles, because at least then it's likely to be unique. So now let's define our container types. So the thruster loot Atmo is defined, and that's where we pick up this one. Now I'm wondering, can you call more than one container type? So it could be this or something. Probably doesn't need to be. Probably doesn't need to be. And then we've got our thruster loot space. So let's create a new one. And then I have to figure out where I find the IDs for everything. So I can create our remaining... So that's 2 of our 5 loot profiles. Oops. Loot space, so this will be locker loot. And then we'll copy that. Call this one... What do they call them? What's the block called? Armory. Armory loot. And then, because I can't think of a better name for it, we're going to have generic loot. So there we go. That'll also be my 5 loots. Now, which file is it that has all of these things defined? Because I need to find it so I can come up with the right labels for things. Erg. P in Steam apps, common. Space engineers. Content. Data. Components, maybe? Maybe I should look at the mod. Assertive Rust Can't remember what Gruz called it. Oh, man. Oh, no, it's lootable Ruster. Is Ruster loot? I'm thinking it might be unlisted, so it may not show up with search. I may have to actually find it. See you, bootlegger. I don't know how to find it. So what I'm thinking I'm going to do is I'm going to find Gruz's mod, match the code to which file he's put it in, and what name out of which definition, so that I can get the right definition from the files to create the other loot profiles, so then we can have randomized loot on the ships, so that we have a bit more variety and a bit more... Then I can put little bits of random good loot in, because it'll be rare. Rather than, oh, that ship has that loot, I'm going for it. It can be more, oh, I can do this thing. Or, oh, cool, I found this thing on this ship. Wow, that never happened before. Sort of thing. It's kind of where I was imagining this going. Will you do the loot table for seats, cockpits, chairs? I don't know if I can. I would like to do one for cockpits, but I think it has to be a cargo container type for the loot to work, which is why you can't do those, what are they called? Those cargo containers, you know, the freight containers. Man. Word finding difficulties today. What this? Steam apps, workshop, content, space engineers. Then we have 23913. 23913 591. Oh, did he TFE? Lucas said his new method worked with stuff like freight containers. All right, let's find the thing. Let's get this working with the regular stuff. Make sure that the loot, it's all working. And then someone make sure that once I've got this working with the specific containers I want it to be working for, then we can test and see if it works with the other ones as well. But get it working with ones that we know should work first. So components.sbc. That's the compressor. That's annoying. Component small blocks, small thrust assert. I don't know where to find this information. Does Lucas have a... which... Alright. Loot. These profiles attached to manipulation profiles. It's worth noting that these profiles will only target cargo blocks that do not have have a container type already defined. If we've already defined them manually, then those blocks will be unchanged. What does that mean? This could be any block that contains an inventory. Oh dear. Oh, I can add data pads. Oh. I so should do it that way. But I'm going to need him to teach me how to set up the text template because I don't know that I'm likely to be able to get that right without Lucas's direct help there. Minimum block, start pad file source, start pad count, append name to block, append a name. I don't know which name to use for the components or the tools. I don't know where to find the correct name. This was a problem I had before when we were setting these up the first time. I didn't know which names to use. Tiffy, do you have an example file where you've done any of this stuff? Or do you know any mods that use the loot profiles that I can have a look at to see an example? So I can try and figure out how to determine which is the correct name to use for the various bits and pieces. You don't. This is well outside the hours that Lucas will be around. Drat. Oh, you might, Elfin Slayer? Yeah, if you have an MES mod somewhere that has a loot profile defined, that'd be very helpful to try and work out what thing is defined this way. Component small, block small, thrust assert. Let's go back to the game. No, I won't put stuff like uranium in the loot. Maybe in space, maybe, but probably not. I'm thinking more stuff like silver and gold is the rare stuff that I'll put in. But I've got better rare loot. Sorry, I'm just grabbing a drink. I've got some better rare loot with the thrusters. Just so much better than a bit of uranium or something like that, because it'll actually give you a block that you want to use and want to protect. With these loot profiles, though, if I get them set up properly, I might be able to do a tiny bit of uranium here and there, but I could make it very rare. But I don't think I will. Largely because you'll probably find uranium like, if you play the game the way I do, you'll find uranium before you have silver. I've used uranium in my recent, largely teal-colored series, but that's about it. Yeah, it's not something I use much because it doesn't tend to... What's it doing? It doesn't tend to add good things to the game. How do I get the name of that as a component? Hey, Drago. Actually, Drago, you might know the answer to this. So, I'm trying to figure out at the moment which subtype ID Lucas is using here for defining loot. And I can't figure out where that name is derived from, because I want to put some generic components and things in. I'm thinking it's possibly this one, but I can't seem to figure it out for sure. Actually, it almost certainly is that one, isn't it? Yeah, I'm trying. That was the other thing, Drago. I'm trying to do the same approach. No one seems to have a working loot table that includes vanilla components. I've got a working one that has modded components. Trouble is, I don't actually see where... Oh, wait, here it is. Oh, yeah, it is that name. It is that name. That's the name. Okay, cool. We're good. I just found the thing. Graz has it in a separate folder. Aha. Okay. Alright. Now we're cooking with portals. So, let's keep that open separate, so I can look at it at the same time. The amount of uranium in ammo doesn't really end up with meaningful power output, in my experience. Capac and I have played a little bit of Portal 2. Wait. Did I finish that with Capac? Ooh. Thank you for that you posted in there as well, TFE. That's going to be really useful for defining the specific blocks. The ID/subtype ID forms a my definition ID in the mod API. And definition IDs are the foundation of everything in Space Engineers. I see. I understood about 70% of that, I think. I'm sure there are implications I don't know. Yeah, I'm with you on that, TFE. I think... I think rockets should not have... should not require uranium. Or platinum, really? I think they should just be magnesium, nickel, and iron. Oh, of course you can mod it out. But I think, like, talking about what would be good for vanilla, I think getting rid of that aspect of things would be good. All right, let's start with construction. So we're looking here at locker loot. What did I put in the locker loot that I thought would be valid? Construction components, computers. We'll find those drills and things. Construction components and computers are the first bits. So that's construction. Just straight up construction. Mount minimum. 8. Mount maximum. 32. Then we'll grab some computers and do the same thing. Actually, that's a fair point, Drago. Having missiles which have computer, like the silicon, nickel, iron that's required for computers, having them required for a missile. But yeah, I also agree that it would have been awesome if Warfare 2 had made the regular rockets that we have that are dumb-fired, made them just magnesium, iron, nickel, and then made tracking ones that require maybe platinum, but maybe not. Or maybe uranium, but not platinum. So you can have dumbfire rockets and go nuts with those early game, but you get these ones that have a bit of tracking capability later on that cost a bit more. Because I just think that would add so much depth to that side of the combat. Metal grids, interior plate. Yeah, let's put some interior plate too. Why not? Put that as an option. And then girders, no. Small tubes, no. Large tubes, no. Motors, no. Display. Where's computer? Computer. Then I find out I've used the wrong subtype ID and it's all for naught. Now, where the heck do I find the tool subtype IDs that I need? And the weapons. Hand items? Possibly. Oops. Rocket launcher. Subtype. I'm guessing it's this subtype is the advanced handheld launcher item. Semi-auto pistol item. No. No. Full auto. Oh no, yeah, full auto pistol gun. I think I want full auto pistol item, not gun. Would you? Feels like this is the right things, but that feels like it could also be wrong. Automatic rifle item. That'll be the MR50, I guess. No, that'll be the rapid fire. And then precise. And then, is it elite for the other one? Ultimate. Why? Yeah. Ultimate in the files, elite in the game. Love it. Just to confuse me. Subtype welder 2. Okay, what welders do we have? We got... What do we got? We have welder. Is this still welder? No. Subtype welder. Welder item. That's the basic welder. Let's shove one of them in, just for rubbish stuff. That'll be a different type ID. Does it need to be that? Or is it... Ooh. I don't know. It's not a component. Or is it? I don't know what tools are defined as. Or where to figure that out. Trying to look at these ones to see if there's something similar that I can help figure this out. Type ID component, subtype ID construction. Display name. Because this all like defines other stuff. I wonder if there's a separate file that has more of these bits. There might be a separate hand items file for this. Is his inventory script? Maybe? I have no idea where I'd look in that. Can have a look though. Interesting. It's an interesting thought. May well have them defined somewhere. Let's have a look. Is his inventory manager? Can I read the code below the... This is the problem though. So that it can fit, it's not readable. Yeah, so I think that's so that it fits in the minimum number of, the maximum number of lines, I should say. No, this I don't think the definitions are in there in any readable fashion. It's an interesting thought, though. You reckon it could be blueprint classes? Let's have a look there then. Yeah, it does look like it'll be these things, doesn't it? Yep. Oh, no, wait. Class tools. Entity class basic components. No, because it's just component. Oh, wait. Here we go. Components is a separate thing. Okay. So it should be tools. And then we do ammo for the ammo. Tools are elite tools. Oh dear. Guessing it's elite tools because maybe this is old tools. Because this has got all the launchers and stuff, so maybe these are the new updated ones. Gotta love the confusion that comes from backwards compatibility. No, this is the wrong definition as well. This isn't right. This is plural, this is singular, and this has worked before. So I don't know if it's actually... I don't know which one it'll... I don't know where the name will be. It's not these. Like, yes, this helps me get the name for the specific things, but if I want... I think I need to get this type ID right as well. I'm going to guess that Lucas has used loot profiles for Reavers. So let's go have a look at his mod and see. Was it what? What? How was that not showing up first? You're a terrible search engine, Steam. Terrible. Five, 2, 5, 4. It's physical gun object welder item. Looks like you might be correct. There may not be any loot profiles here. Check physical items. Alright, let me check that one. Construction components not defined in here. Physical gun object. Yeah, that does look right, doesn't it? Yeah, nice one, Nev. Thank you very much. How's work coming on the Arc Shield mod thing? Hopefully it's not been too much of a pain. Yeah, physical gun object. Now we can put a few of the others in. And no, we won't leave it at 8 and 32. We'll put that at 1 and 1. Think. Count minimum 1, count max 3. I think that means I'll get between 1 and 3 of these things, which will then give us between their amounts of those things if they're selected. So we got welders. I want to grab a... let's give a hydrogen bottle. Why not? That's something random. Welder, hydrogen bottle. What else we got? I should start at the top and just work through and see what I want. But we need to get past all of the stone and nickel rubbish. All the ingots. There we go. Semi-auto pistol item. Oh, that's cool, Nev. If you need me to... If you want me to do some testing with you for the shield, let me know. No elite pistol, automatic rifle, item. Wait, I don't want to give rifles in this one. This one is my locker loot. So yeah, we'll just have a pistol in the locker. No proper rifles. Nor rocket launchers. Could put oxygen bottle in there. have a welder 2 as an option. The more stuff I put into these things, the more variation in what you're going to find, I figure. Because you can have any combination of any of these things, and it makes it much more interesting to look and see what you're going to end up with. And I might put this in, as there's a small chance to get a better welder, but I'm going to make the chance of it actually turning up lower than anything else by having a chance that it'll get a 0. Oh, the bottles are a different type? Whoops. Gas container object. Thank you. That would have taken me a while to figure out. Welder 2, welder 3. Back to here. Where's some grinders? Angle grinder. Angle grinder 2. Yeah, Demonworks, it's true. The enemy is the loot. I thought oxygen might have been different too. Hydrogen bottle. Oh, it is. You're right. Oxygen container object. Wow. That's unfortunate. Well, 4, angle grinder 2, 3, 4, hand drill. Hand drill 2. And I just overwrote the hand drill one. Whoops. So what have we got as options on this one? So we've got construction components, interior plate, computers, standard welder, hydrogen bottle, semi-auto pistol, oxygen bottles, welder 2, 3, angle grinder 2. Now the remaining things that I want to put in this, because I do want to put a few more things that could show up. The power kits and health kits. Oh, I don't like that. And the coffee. I'm going to guess that they're not in this one, though. This is talking about pine trees now. Oh, it is here. Cosmic coffee. Consumable item. Cosmic coffee. Clan cola. Okay. No medical thing in this one. Where's the medical thing? How hiding? Physical items economy. Thanks, Nev. Medkit. Consumable item. And power kit. So for these, we can go up to 3. These, we can go up to 4. All right. I think that's enough variability on the locker loot. The good thing is I can kind of, now that Nev's told me all the different places I need to find things, and we've gotten on top of that. Don't forget the plushies. I don't know about the plushies. I would potentially use the plushies as a rare loot item in beds. That's, I think, but I don't know if I can even put stuff in beds, because I don't even know if you can put plushies in them, because I know you can put money in them and data pads, but I don't think you can put anything else in them. Hey, Chris. I'm not sure if anything else is able to actually go into them. Not based off what MES can do, what the things can actually hold. All right, Armory loot. Armory loot. What do we want? We want most of these hand drill, angle grinder, welder things. Grab those. And that's a good start for the armory. Then we want to add ammunition and weapons. This is a whole lot of work at the front end to get this set up, but this is going to make adding loot to the ships so much quicker and so hopefully a bit more interesting, because I was effectively doing random. I wasn't trying to tell any particular stories with a lot of the loot that I put in. Some of it I wanted to, and that loot I'll leave as specific for those ships, but most of it I was just putting in anyway. Because I was like, it doesn't really matter where I put this. Right. Yep, it's true, TFE. Physical items. So, let's go grab these rifles, which I think we're at the top, near the top of this bit. Gravel, iron, cobalt, magnesium. Yeah, here we go. Semi-auto pistol item. So we have 2 pistol types, 2 rifle types, and then I need to find the ammunition, and I have no idea. MES comes with some built-in loot profiles. Oh yeah, it does. But yeah, I like having this level of control, because I think my amounts of loot would be different to what might be more generically offered. And this way, if I'm unhappy with an amount that shows up, I can change it up. So I'm happy to set up my own, I think. But yes, that is a good point that Lucas has made ones that everyone can access. And no elite automatic rifle. Oops, I replaced the wrong one, whatever. And not the precise rapid fire, that's the one. So there we go, we've got the 4 different rifle types, we've got all the tool types, and now we just need some ammunition, which I think... Was it in components? Nope. Is the ammunition in here? Don't think so. I don't know what it's called either, because what name have they given to their weird ammunition? I wonder if it's in some warfare file. Economy. Where is this going to be? I think this just defines all the actual weapon. I don't really want this. Where did I thought I saw the ammunition somewhere in one of the files I had open. Was this hand items one? I think it was, and I don't think this was helpful. Nor was blueprint classes. Maybe it's in components. Ammunition, where are you? No, it is not in components. Although the engineer plushie is apparently a component. So I could put that in there if I wanted to. I am actually tempted to put that in there. But the locker only. Because I don't think we can put it in the bed. Let's put it as a rare thing. Mount minimum 0, maximum 1. Type ID component. Subtype ID that. Where in the heck is the ammo? Hey, Frost Shock. Frost Shock. That's hard to say. AR behavior, ammo magazines. Maybe it's that. Yep. There we go. It's almost like that was intended to be easy to find. One, two, three, four. I declare a thumb war. Don't know why that popped into my head. Semi-auto pistol magazine. Let's give between 2 and 5. Next one, full auto pistol magazine. You're welcome, TX Wolves. Glad you've had a lot of fun in it. As I have, and continue to. Auto, and then we've got... I think that'd be the MR20, which is the basic rifle, which is one of the ones that this could potentially spawn with. And then I need the 50 round one. So for these ones, I think we'll stick with the same kind of numbers that I've got above, between 2 and 5. I think that's enough to help you if you're exploring something, but not enough that it'll fully mess with your loot amounts. TX Wolf's not with Space Engineers, no. Space Engineers are just way too prone to griefing and stuff like that, that having any sort of ongoing series where I'm playing on anything that's public just hasn't ever really worked out. At least, definitely not as a streamed thing. And there were other issues with the fact that Space Engineers just doesn't like running very stably once people have played on there for a while. Though, as TFE says, supporter sessions are a thing. So one of the things that I've been doing recently is obviously the Ark server starting last week, which all the supporter group can get involved with. But also something else that I've been doing thanks to TFE's efforts. He's actually made a couple of mods and scenarios using the MES framework where we every now and then I'll just ping all of the supporter group and be like, come and join me to play a Last Stand scenario or stuff like that, where we just jump in and we all just muck around and get attacked by the AI enabled bots and other things like that. Just sort of quick sessions, but all set up to be co-op and a bit of fun. But anything protracted with Space Engineers is just a nightmare to manage the server. So I decided a while ago that wasn't for me. It just ends up being too much time spent managing a server and too little time spent making content. Okay. So there are some basic... Okay, let's start with basic components. Oh yeah, this might speed things up. Thank you. Yeah, the numbers that Lucas gives are a lot more generous than I would be. So let's just copy those. So what have we got here? We've got bulletproof glass, metal grids, computers, large tubes, small tubes, displays, interior plate, construction, steel plate, and motors. Yeah. That's the sort of thing I want for the cargo containers. And then I'll just use replace to replace these bits with something more reasonable. Yeah, Lucas is more generous. What else have we got in here? Why have we got 2? Between 2 to 4, basic components 1, basic components 2. Ah, so that's more generous again. Oh, right, I see what he's trying to do. He's created minimally generous ones all the way up to incredibly, ridiculously generous ones. Oh, I see it now. Okay, and then I also would like to put ingots in. Advanced ingots? No, basic ingots. Iron, nickel, cobalt, silicon. I'm going to get rid of stone because I don't want to give people stone. That's just lame. And where's our advanced ingots? Let's grab some magnesium, I think is fine. For our purposes. And I'm going to grab silver and gold, but I'm going to make their amounts frustratingly small. So they're more a way to potentially get yourself a better tool with the silver amounts than they are to get you anything actually useful. Okay, so replace this with... That text is going to be unreadably small for you guys, but amount minimum 5, amount maximum 90. Replace, 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 replace. Now we'll do this one. Wait, no, what? I just did that totally wrong. Okay. These are components. What am I doing? I want amount minimum to be 2. Amount maximum to be 40. Hey, thanks, Sir Alter Ego. Thanks for continuing Dragnon's gift sub. He makes large ships for you to have lots of blocks to grind down. Of course, those blocks will also try to kill you. Every single one of them. Yes. When you get more components from grinding down the box these come in, then you know it's a splitsy ship. This is true. As I said, I'm aware that my ships are the loot, so the loot that's in the boxes is only meant to be there as a... See, there's stuff, they are carrying stuff, it's just not a lot. Alright, what sort of minimums for iron? 100? And a maximum of 400 kilos? Nickel could be 50 to 200. Cobalt can be 10 to 80. Silicon can be the same. Magnesium, here we go. This one should probably be 5 to 25. Silver. 0 to 3. Which I know is pathetically little, but that's enough silver. Actually, let's make it up to 8. Because 6.67 kilograms of silver is what is required to make one medical component. So you might get enough to make a medical component, or you might get barely enough to make a tool. But, you know, silver's one of these things that's held back with a lot of mod setups, so I figure this is not a bad way of doing it. There you go, 0 to 10 gold. Alright, so what do we got in this? We've got ingots, and we've got a whole bunch of basic components as things that can show up. And I think for cargo containers, that's fine. But what I'm also going to do is maybe add some of these things to my thruster loot crates. But I might do that after I've tested it to make sure that these thruster items do show up. Unless someone can think of a reason I shouldn't do that. Oh, here we go. So the Tiffy's just sent me a clip of one of the supporter sessions videos. Let me show you this.
They really need to fix spectator mode.
Hey, go back.
Wait, what the? Wait, this isn't spectator mode. Ow! They really need to fix spectator mode.
totally forgot that I did that.
Hey, go back. Wait, what the? Wait, this isn't spectator mode. Ow! They really need to fix spectator mode. Hey, go back. Wait, what the? Wait, this isn't spectator mode. Ow!
Oh, the crossfire.
They really need to fix
The crossfire.
spectator mode.
Oh dear. Right. Now it should be good for testing. So we've got our container types. Now let's set up our loot profile. So we've got our thrust load space. Let's grab a copy of that. So we're going to need another 3 of these. 1, 2, 3. So thruster loot atmo, thruster loot space, and let's start starting to name them. Just so I've got a Is it bad that I named those identically? Huh. So those subtype IDs match. Yeah. Let's do this. The container type is locker loot. The inventory type is locker loot inventory. Duplicate definitions is how you get invincible capax. Yes, it is. Well played, Nev. Oh. Ah, dear. So yes, that's what Chipsticks found out was the cause of the invincible Capac in the finale of Wrong Way Up. How's the space inventory? Look, a loot inventory. Armory loot. And then we have generic loot. Okay. So generic loot should still be large block, small container, but it should also be what's the large block? I'm guessing it's going to be large block, large container, but it may well not be. Where is that defined now? Remember this being a bit of a difficult one to get right last time. Large block, large container, large block, and large industrial, large block, small container. Okay. I think that is actually right. So I also want to get this one. Large block, large container, large block, large industrial container in case I happen to use it. So this is basically any regular storage container on the grid. Should be used for generic loot. And it should also be used for the thruster loots. I don't want them in lockers, I think. Unless I create separate loot for the small grid versions and the large grid versions. But I think I'll just keep them out of lockers. I think I'll just keep them as cargo in the cargo containers. And then locker. I need to get rid of the small cargo container out of that. Then armory. Which will be large block locker room. Large block locker room corner. I know these ones because TFE sent me them earlier. That's the only reason I know these ones. Corner and large block weapon rack. Hey, thanks, Greg. Thanks for 10 months and all the other craziness. Thanks, man. Hope you have a good day. So that's my armory loot and generic loot. Okay, so we should be right. In theory at the moment, what we should have is thruster loot can go into cargo containers with that tag for Atmo, that tag for space. Lockers with that tag can get locker loot. Armory loot will go into those tags in those blocks. Except I need to renew these tags for the locker loot and stuff. So what do I do for my locker loot tag? Let's have a look here. Locker loot was this one, which is 4F. Armory loot was 6D. And 2M. Okay. So with the thrusters, I know I don't want to give the player anything more than 0 to 2 of the blocks of the loot. Sorry, let me start that again. For the thrusters, I don't want to give the players any more than 2 per ship. So what this is set up to do is, of the blocks that are named with this, somewhere between 0 and 2 of them will end up with the Atmo in it, the loot in it. So I'm happy with that for those. But for locker loot, I think we kind of want it to be in nearly every locker, don't we? Thanks, Frostshock. Keep up doing what you like. Thank you. I was actually thinking about that. Just doing whatever I like doing. It's my birthday this weekend, and I joked ages ago about playing The Sims if I ended up streaming on my birthday. I won't be streaming on my birthday, so you're probably safe from that. But I was thinking about that earlier. I think anywhere between 0 and 6. 8? I don't usually put that many lockers on, but anywhere between 0 and 8 can have stuff in them. So it won't be all, it won't. But some of them will. Thanks, Tagalux. Loot inventory. I think same deal with that. And generic, let's go up to 5. I feel like that's a reasonable balance. Now, manipulation profiles. Huh. Do it for a pre-post birthday gift for myself. Maybe. We'll see. We'll see how I go on Monday. We'll see how I go on Monday. Because I might be still in the headspace where I want to do this. Or I want to keep working on this mod. So it looks like I might have only set this up for space loot by the time I've finished doing that particular stream where I was setting this up. So how does this get used? Hmm. Oh, I can create a loot profile group, which is what I should probably do. But where do I put these in? I feel like I'm missing something. So I thought I would have had to define it in the spawn group somewhere. But I'm not sure. Where is it? All right. Let's go back to the wiki. So, loot. Loot profiles. In the modular encounter systems model A to define rules for blocks containing. No type definitions are used to randomly fill inventory with items. Loot profiles are attached to manipulation profiles. So my manipulation profile. Manipulation profiles allow you to group together customizations that are applied after a spawn group is selected, but before the grid is created in the game world. Spawn groups can have multiple manipulation profiles. After a spawn group has been selected for spawn, all of the attached manipulation profiles in that spawn group will be processed and applied to the prefabs prior to spawn. So as you easily create sets of common customizations that you can apply to multiple spawn groups and tweak them across all the encounters by editing the applicable profile. Multiple manipulation profiles also have some limited conditional parameters, blah, blah, blah. Here's an example of how a spawn condition profile is created. What? See ya, TX Wolves. Spawn conditions. Here we go. Why? What? What? Huh? Atmospheric space. That. Use threat level check. Use replacer profile. Let's see, ion thrust. Use threat level check. Where have I defined this? I swear I had at least one of these things set up to actually have the profile on it, but I can't see it on any of my grids. So I feel like I'm missing a step. And usually when I feel like I'm missing a step, I'm missing several. Where do I define this? Yeah, here we go. Spawn condition profiles. I should have that in the spawn groups. So I think what I want to do is create a new spawn, which will probably be this thing. No, it won't. It'll be a brand new grid with the respective required containers on it. So what we want to have is a weapon rack, an armory lockers, and cargo container, large cargo container, and large industrial cargo container. So that should be most of what I need, and then I'll give it the other bits and pieces to make sure that it is an actual ship. Gyroscope, and where's batteries? Oh right, I put all the special thrusters on. Oh well, whatever. Let's name this thing. This will be called Loot Test Ship Space. LB, C, F11, export. Alrighty. Not that one. Actually, do want to be here. Alright, prefabs. Let's just shove it in there. Then I'm going to cargo ship space. Create a new one down here. Test to see if it gets any loot. Oh, I really should have named that without spaces. Oh, whatever. Test ship space. Okay, so this will be space cargo ship true. Use autopilot. Yes, yes. Yes, 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 yes. Don't need to worry about that stuff, so we'll get rid of that. Don't want threat level checks. What we do want to do is spawn conditions profile. Actually, let's do spawn conditions groups. ACS. ACS. Loot group. Okay. Subtype ID will be this. Prefab, I mean. Prefab 1. So how do we set up this loot group? That's the next thing. Loot profile. Manipulation profile. It's worth noting that these profiles will only target cargo boxes. Yeah. Wait, what? Can I not define more than one loot profile in this? Do I have to do this for each of my loot profiles? Seems like I might have to and then have a separate loot group. So our loot profiles are one there. Becomes a manipulation profile. Or can I have multiple loot profiles? Look, settings, build states, damage, inventory. Use loot profiles true, yeah. Ah, okay. So I need to define the group separately and then I'll just put the group here. I see. How do I define a loot profile group? So then I'll just have the one. Loot profile group. Oh, don't want that. So the loot profiles I'm going to have are this. Oh no, I need two separate ones. I need Atmo and Space as two separate groups. Then this, because this is going to be my Atmo one. CS loot Atmo. Loot group Atmo. I'll have a separate space one. Feel like I'm making headway now. Loot space, loot locker, armory. And generic as the last. Copy that. Create a space one. Now I wonder, is it possible that because I've got modded loot in this, this won't work if I don't have the mod active? I hope not. So my manipulation profiles will be space cargo ships and Atmo. This isn't just cargo ships. This will work for bases as well. Space loot Atmo loot. Yeah, I'm hoping what it means is that if it rolls to get that loot, it just won't be there, but it won't stop the other loot for turning up. But we'll have to test that to see. So manipulation profiles, I need to go check what loot profile groups needs to be under. Use container assignment. This tag allows loot profiles and loot profile groups to be run while using this manipulation. True. Loot profiles, loot groups. Okay, so it needs to be loot groups. And then the thing. And because these are around the wrong way now, compared to the other file, I'm going to swap them. So that it's Atmo and then space. I kept getting S10 mags when writing the wrong IDs, but... no, maybe that's intentional. That there needs to be a default item so that it doesn't fail. So we could end up with heaps of random magazines. Alright, that could be worse. I don't know why I've got a spawn conditions. Oh, right. I see. I remember now. Lucas was trying to teach me how to mess with spawn conditions. This is a separate thing. So that I can mess with threat scores across all of my spawn groups without having to... So without having to have the threat scores in each thing, I could just have a spawn condition and then mess with my spawn conditions file separately. That's what we were trying to do with that. That's a separate thing. That's something I should do, but something I don't have to do. Right. So we got spawn conditions. This is a space one. Wait, spawn conditions? No, don't want spawn conditions. Do I? Spawn groups. Manipulate. Oh. Manipulation profiles. This tag allows you to provide one or more manipulation profiles to the spawn group. So it should be manipulation profile, which will be this. Which will be this. Let's do some more helpful naming with these things before I get too far ahead. Yeah, Nev, it would look a lot neater in the spawn groups if I can start moving them into separate modularized things. I'm guilty of tweaking individual ships sometimes though, and having specific settings for each spawn. In general, I try and avoid it, but I am guilty of doing it from time to time. But yeah, it's something I should do and something that will help with once we get to the balance phase. Right. This should now work. Unless I've buggered up one of the many things I just did, which had to be done before I could even test it. Which is fantastic. Just fantastic. ACS. Test.
Fuel critical.
Fingers crossed this works. I'm strongly suspicious that it won't, but hopefully it does. Let's see if the spawn is even eligible. Yes, it is. /mes dot spawn space cargo ship dot loot test ship space. Probably would have helped if I put an antenna on it, huh? Probably. Have we got any loot? No. Because I didn't name any of them. Because I'm an idiot. I'm an idiot. Why? Why did I forget to do that? I didn't actually put the... I didn't actually put the names in the stupid things to actually make them spawn with it. I knew I'd stuff something up. Of course I'd stuff that up. Of course! Hopefully that's the only thing. Right, so. For our weapon racks, what are our codes? $60 ACS. And for this one, we got 4F ACS. Oh yes, thank you. Should have. Good point. Add an antenna. Yep. Yep. Hey, Taylor Line. Hooray! There we go. Won't be losing that. Control C, F11. Export. Yes, this is very much me getting ACS released as soon as I can. Basically, what I'm trying to do is any afternoons when I can work on it, I'm going to be working on it until I get it up to release ready. Keeping it as fresh in my mind as possible and doing a real big push to get it done. So I'd really like to get it released so that then I can go back to doing the design, the ship design. That's really the stuff that I enjoy doing. That's the stuff that makes me happy. But yeah, I needed this basic groundwork in place with all of the different interactions between all of the ships and the bases and all that stuff set up so that then once I can spend little bits and pieces of time on it doing everything else. Adding detail here and there. Hello? Why do you not have bacon? Oh, I know why. Dang it. Stupid SBC5 file. Yeah, the ship design is definitely... I feel like the ship design is a much better spectator sport than the coding part. As there's a lot more input that can be given and, you know, testing ideas quickly and doing things like that. Like, I can work back and forth. It's a lot more visually interesting too. But the coding's necessary, and that's why I'm just pushing to get it done. How did the Stationeer's programming go? I tore my hair out for a bit, totally not understanding something that I eventually understood. And people were very patient with me despite me losing patience with myself. Aha! Check it out. We got some motors, we got some S10 magazines. That suggests something's funky. Oh, maybe not. Maybe not. Oh, we have a thruster. Cool. Look at that. Random loot. Why so many welders? Let's delete this one and let's create another one. See if we get different loot. I'll put it this way. The coding got to the point where I said the next person who mentions GPSs gets to be put in a corner, and it happened. I timed out someone that was meant to be a gag, but then I realized it automatically times them out for 10 minutes, which is a bit long. Longer than I meant, anyway. But It is what it is. Oh yeah, here we go. Get with the thruster though. But the loot is random. It's definitely random. It's a lot of S10s. I think I might change it so there's only one tool. So the Stationeer's GPS thing was around. I was intentionally working on a solution to a problem that didn't use GPS because it would allow me to learn a particular programming related skill. And people kept telling me that the easier way to do this, the more reliable way to do this is do it with GPS. But that wouldn't have taught me that skill. And because it was really distracting in a situation where I was already really mentally struggling, I was just using that as a way to let people know that they need to just let that go and need to just let me figure things out and keep going the way I am until I get to it. Kabak's corner for timeouts. Kabak wouldn't stay in the corner. Or he would, he'd just fall asleep. Alright, I think let's reduce the frequency of some of these things. Let's just go down to 1 of all of these. And, oh, that's the other thing I need to do. Armory loot. This needs to be count minimum, count max 3. That's why we're only getting 1 type as well. Okay. That's going to create a bit more variation, but I'm still going to go to these and make it so it's only a single rifle. Or a single whatever else. Even though it makes sense, every time I look at one of these like things and find multiple of the same drill, I'm like, why would they have 2 drills? Why would they have 2 of the same drill? It's just this bit in my head that goes, that doesn't look right. Is there a way with MES to spawn a base that digs out voxels? Yes! Yes, there is. There's newer, better ways that are either released or soon to be released that will allow you to just clear out voxels based on a separate blueprint. So basically you could have a blueprint that has a massive tunnel and that clears out a space of a tunnel and then it deletes itself, and then you have a nice clear tunnel that leads down to the base that you've just spawned. Things like that. Which, if that becomes a thing, I would like to have as a module for ACS, have that sort of thing. The trouble with this stuff is I don't know how performance friendly it is doing these voxel edits for all of these grids. So I'm hesitant to have it as the generic part of the mod. Even though it would be nice in some ways to have something like that. But yeah, you could do caves with it. Projection voxel clearing. Thanks, Steffi. That's the term. So has Lucas done that yet, or is he still in development phase for that stuff? I didn't see it in his last Patreon thing, any mention of it, because he was talking about the Ember and other mods that he's almost got ready to come out. Because yes, if you want to support Lucas and the stuff that he does with MES, he does have a Patreon. Which I do not have the link to handy. But TFE, feel free to share it if you want to. Not yet. Okay. Alright, let's have a look at the loot now. Inventory. Okay, we got a lot less stuff. Interesting. Got no thruster this time. But we got, you know, some nickel, some interior plates, some other random bits and pieces. That's cool. Let's spawn another one and see. Got some computers, some large steel tubes, a pistol, a thruster. Cool. Oh, there we go. TFA just dropped the link. This appears to be working. Appears to be. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, is it? It even goes to 2 decimal points on the magnesium. Yeah. I think we're on a winner with this loot profile. I think I'm happy with it. Yes. Good. That's another big thing ticked. So we've made the loot profiles that we need to be able to update the prefabs with them. Yeah, I've done that. So now, yeah, okay. Yeah. Yeah, so what TFE just said is one of the really cool potentials of projector voxel clearing. So if you imagine, in fact, let's just do it here. If you imagine a base spawned with MES as it currently is, it wouldn't be able to spawn here because the terrain's too rough. But with projector voxel clearing, it could spawn under here with a blueprint that's set to create a 400-meter tunnel in a bunch of different directions that clears out straight up. And so then you could enter through that tunnel, or one that goes out each side at like a slope, so that you would still be able to access that base, and it would create like some potentially interesting bases to engage with that are underground and that don't have to be visible on the surface completely. But yes, you have to do that. You have to use a special terrain check cancellation thing. Also, I'm freezing. I'll grab my jacket and close the door. Because the stinky puppy is clearly cold. She's curled up in a ball, but she left the door open. The door has locked. Stinky puppy that needs a bath on the weekend. But it's really cold, and she gets really cold, so I'm not sure I want to do it outside, and I'm not sure I want to do it in my bathroom either. Yeah, it would be amazing to have more interesting underground bases for MES. The potential of that is huge. Like, just the potential is enormous. Right, what next? I'm just trying to figure out if I'm at the point where I need to start messing with the actual ships, or whether I still need to do more file toying. So we've got I should set up medium, hard, and deadly behavior profiles now. I think. Or I could just set everything to use the current baseline. What do we do? Oh, actually, there is something we need to do. We need to do the chat lines. The Wrong Way Up finale base is not a single grid, so it would be impossible to spawn. Also, it would seriously kill your PC to spawn that thing in. I had to make it as multiple separate grids because it was causing weird sync issues where players would bounce up and down on the grid, and it looked really ridiculous and also really uncomfortable for the person viewing that because your viewpoint was juddering up and down. So the Wrong Way Up finale base is not going to happen. I did publish it though, so you can go and play with it yourself anyway. I don't know which job to do next. Do I go through all of the prefabs and add the loots? I honestly don't know, Taylorland. I don't know if there are any Jubilee things going on. I tend to only read about tech news because so much other news is really depressing. I don't tend to pay a lot of attention to it. So there may well be stuff and I've just missed it. What? Tech news at the moment isn't depressing. Graphics cards are getting cheaper. Yeah, some other stuff's getting more expensive, but, you know. We're probably 4 to 5 months away from the next generation of Intel processors being released. We're potentially a similar amount of time frame away from the next generation of NVIDIA graphics cards being released. Hopefully that should push down the costs of the current generations of those in about a year's time. So they'll make things that are very capable of all the games that I play potentially a bit more affordable. I'm sure the prices will initially be higher, but given that there's, except for the NVIDIA side of things, for the Intel side of things, because AMD is managing to be competitive, I think there's more drive for them to just get back their market share as opposed to making lots of money straight off the bat, because they won't. Oh, that sucks, Barrackstar. That really sucks. But a 2080 Ti is still perfectly capable of everything. The only the only thing that I think you're gonna, this is hugely just my opinion, but unless you're playing 4K, if you're playing 1440p, which is honestly, I only went up to 4K because I wanted to be able to zoom in on stuff more without losing quality for videos and editing stuff. But if you're playing 1440, you don't need a 30 series card. And a 3060 is going to be able to do most of the stuff you want anyway. Like, we're at this point that especially with indie games being as popular as they are, we don't need the stuff that's coming out. I want a lot of this stuff and can get advantages out of a lot of this stuff because of the way I produce content, but I'm still running an 8th gen i7. Like, and I'm only now running into issues where it's kind of struggling on some things. And definitely bottlenecking my 3090. Even when I'm playing at 4K. I guess I'm just trying to, I really needed to come up with a more organized job list. What are my other assertive to-dos? Let's try and make a bit more of an organized job list here, because this is not helpful. Yeah, incognito, like a GTX 1660 on 1080p is fine. And this is the thing, like, when you look at the Steam survey of graphics cards and stuff, 1660s and that sort of card in newer generations is really popular, and it's enough to play stuff. I'm never going to be a person who's an advocate for buying ridiculously high-end stuff, and I would never have bought those the ridiculously high-end stuff that I have if I didn't also somehow turn this stuff into my job. Okay, so let's break this down into prefab updates, behavior. Let's break it up. Behaviors, prefabs, and spawn. So I'll put that down. Spawn group. So behavior stuff. Expand, easy. Sorry, expand to create medium, hard, and what should I call the hardest spawns? I previously called them boss, but I kind of want to come up with, I kind of want to use something a bit more fun than that. Prefab stuff will be new weapons, loot profiles, sorry, I'll just call that loot using loot profiles. That's going to take a while because that's going to be going through all of the grids and seeing which ones need to be updated with that and which ones don't. Spawn groups, higher difficulty drones, which may actually require me creating new grids. Bigger, small. I'll leave that at that. Kingpin. Sure, we'll leave it at that. We'll leave it as that for now. Prefab. Minimize. Correct gravity. I think I already did the gravity range, actually. Master. Easy, medium, hard, and master. Actually. Could do that. Assuming you guys can read that. Clang level difficulty. So let's get rid of the stuff that I've reorganized. No, I'm not going to do that one. We've done that. Loot using loot profiles, including lootable thrusters. Now, I was originally going to have physical thrusters, but since Graz has made the mod so you can just get a component, I don't need to. I may make some extra prefabs that have them, but I'm not sold that that's necessary at this point. That's fine. So let's add large grid drones for space. Space only. Call it metal. You know why music is called metal? Because it's harder than rock. There's that. Rename some weapons to other block types. Recheck all those things. And then I'm actually going to create a separate thing here for chat. Expand chat options. Create spreadsheet of chat box for supporters to submit recordings. Then, what else have we got in this? Create thruster carrying variants. Have cargo ships stopped by bases done. Have cargo ships and bases able to trigger response done. Add jetpack inhibitors to military and high difficulty captures. So we'll put that in prefab. Select. Actually, that'll be in spawn groups because it's where it's defined. Select high difficulty spawns for inhibitors. Hey, Mr. Oxymoron. Yes, I am creating a thing for everybody to use. Spawn group, this will be balanced frequency of ships. Now, I did have add data pads to randomizer, but I might do that as a post-launch thing. Right, that's what I've got written in my thing that I was saving. Unit base, add drill division. LCD images, because I was going to have some special LCD images, so we need the ACS logo. Steve is my co-pilot. Though I don't know what image that was supposed to be. All the merch images I was going to put in. Although, do I really need to? I had some idea around this, and I don't know why. What I was thinking. Or maybe I was... Actually, this might have been something I was intending for... Oh, no. This was... If you guys recall, I made a word processor kind of image. Warnings. I was going to create LCD images. Maybe that's the next thing I should focus on. Because that'll allow me to create more interest on a lot of the ships and bases and stuff, because they'll have some very unique images showing up around the place. What else we got? And fake news ticker. So the other thing I would like to do is behavior. I do actually have another behavior. I was thinking at one stage of having a hunter style behavior for the military ships. So that'd be Jaxum's bigger ships. Because what I was planning on doing with those was having them be hard. Like that'd be the hard and higher. But they'd sometimes have a special behavior where if you, once you triggered them, they'll go much harder at you than other ones would. Yeah, I think I have done the ACS logo. I just can't remember, so I'm putting it here. And because this is all like, I may have done some of this stuff, but I don't remember for sure that it's in the current version that I'm working on. So I want to make sure. So this is as much check that these things are done as it is actually do them from scratch, sort of thing. I think that's... Yeah. Can you guys think of anything else I've talked about doing? There's so many things. I think that's it. This could actually be moved to post-release. I think. Rather than making it impossible to get this done. But this feels like a... Feels like I've gotten a good list of things that needed to be done. Alright, let's go and have a look at some of these ships. Atmo ships, space cargo ships. Let's load up the Atmo ships. Charlie. Stop chewing your blanket. You got so many chew toys, why do you need to chew your blanket? Hey, Black Shadow. Let's... Don't need this. Hey, thanks, Cyborg. Cyborg? Why did it say Cyborg? It's not like an iceberg. Huh. Just noticed that there's no blocks on that bit. Interesting. Yeah, at least blankets are cheap chew toys, unlike her other beds that she's destroyed. She's been buying the $4 blankets from Kmart, which work quite well. Cybernetic Iceborg. Yes. Right, so... What are you doing, dog? Container types? No. Loot profile? Yes. Okay, so let's go through and get some generic inventories in these things. Hey, Groz. Today we have set up the proper loots, including your mod. So now I can have generic... now I can have randomized loot in all of the things. Oh, I know what we should be doing right now. Not this, not this, not this. We're supposed to be testing to see if I can put loot in other weird things. Like cockpits. Although really it's just control seats. Oh yeah, fair point, Accendo. That was something that Drago asked about. Check which ships work with aerodynamics. Yes, these are Groz's fancy thrusters. Extra power. Yeah, we can try beds, I suppose, as well. Although, if we have a look at beds, there's a very limited amount of stuff that can fit in them. Like, you can't put grinders in. It's pretty much just data pads and money. So I'm not too worried about that one. So what I've got to figure out now is how I'm going to add these to my loot profile. Such as they're an option for spawning generic loot. Although I'm going to want a separate loot profile for these anyway. Wow, that's Cyborg, that's almost more hours than I have. I'm just imagining someone hiding a small thruster under their mattress. Yes, I can hear the jokes now. Something about being happy. And seeing someone. Right. Container types. I might just start with the generic loot and seeing if I can get it into a cockpit or a chair. Because you should be able to put that stuff into these chairs. Like I should be able to put anything in there. So let's start by doing it that way. How do find what that is, though? My object builder, what is it called? Yeah, Clouders Ghost. Unfortunately, there's no option to store money in couches. Hey, Rob. Slightly less hair pulling out in this work than what you were trying to help me with earlier. I just need to figure out where the heck I find this information. What file has these definitions in it? Because this is Notepad++ has find in files in directory. How do I do that? Find in files. That. Find what? What am I trying to find? Large block, large container. Find. Yeah, Nenra, I tried doing stuff with VS and stuff like that, and it got a bit beyond me. I was just like, you know what? For my purposes, all I need is this. I'm sticking with this. I know how to use this. Subtype name? No. Don't want to look in prefabs. Block categories. I've got to figure out if they're my object builder cargo container, though, the things that I want, and I don't know where that's going to be in. Block variant groups, maybe? Blueprint. Because that says... Okay, block variant groups. Let's try that file. Okay, now we need to find the control seat. And I have no idea what Keen have called it. Survival kit, large assembler, basic assembler. Injectors, batteries, wind turbines, generators, cryo chamber, medical room, oxygen generator, hydrogen tanks. So here are the cargo container options. Conveyors. Collectors, connectors. Okay. Which of these is which? Cockpit, small. We have large block cockpit seat, small block cockpit, DB small block fighter cockpit. So I think I know what that one is. Oh, actually, I don't know what that one is. I 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 know what that one is. What? I know what the standing ones are. Oh, here we go. Open cockpit. Large block cockpit. Cockpit open. Open cockpit light. Which one of these is it? Oh dear. I want this one. Yeah. I want the control seat. There doesn't appear to be a control station. It's not the bugger. It's not the buggy. It's not the rover. Is it open cockpit large? Or is it cockpit open? Or is it large block cockpit? I don't know which one it is. I have a list of the names plus types / subtypes if you want. And Enra, is that matched against something? That'd be awesome. Yeah, that'd be awesome, man. Hey, Nabarine. Wait, I was too quick. Or was that too slow? I missed Nab. Hey, Nabarine, thanks for the raid. A few minutes ago that I missed. Sorry. I was too busy scrolling through text files and I didn't notice what was going on in chat. And then I noticed it over in my activity feed. What were you up to today, Nab? Let's download that thing that I just got sent. Okie dokie. Control seat, control station. Oh, I still don't know which names matches what I want. Finished Spiritfarer. Huh. That would be because MES isn't actually active in this save. Because of course it isn't. Do 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 do. Thanks for that, Enro. I will keep hold of that. Alright, let's try the thing that Nev just told me to do. See if this gives me an output that I can use. Which it should do. I can paste in here. Oh wait, no, this is the same sort of thing. This just gives me everything. I was hoping it would just give me the thing I was looking at. It does not. Control seat. Oh. Oh. It does, because it's got block name. Okay, I've got the info I need, just as it gets provided to me by Gruz in chat. What do we got? What do we got? What do we got? Where am I doing this? Loot profile. Adding another row. It's a temporary thing. Actually, I should make a new loot profile. I should do the whole thing properly, because then I can make it a guaranteed spawn so that we can test that it's actually working. So container types. Let's create a new one. Does Notepad++ have an option to show the document outline? No idea. Cockpit loot. See you now. Hopefully we can, once Raft's big update comes out, hopefully we can find a time for the four of us to get together and play that again. And finish it. So let's grab a loot profile. Let's call this cockpit loot. Container types will be this. Minimum blocks will be 1. Match blocks containing name 9. Okay. That should work. Then we need to add this to both of these as loot profiles. What I'll do then is I'll find out, so we'll test to see this works without me messing around finding all of the clang colas and whatever else, because what I like to put in the cockpits is usually a clang cola, a pistol, and maybe a data pad. So a lot of them I probably won't have generic loot, but the ones that don't have data pads at present I will put generic loot in. so that they're not completely predictable, but they'll still be pretty predictable. Okay, that should be all fine. Now I just need to put that into the prefab for the loot test thing. Then we can spawn that in. Then we can see if this works. Yeah, I found cola before. I think I've already got it in one of the loot things. Maybe I think I might have put. Oh no, I put the coffee one in. But yeah, I found it on the consumable. I just have to remember that, which is always the tricky part. 9K-NCS. Spam a few of these. Oh wait, hang on. That's not right. Just to see if we get a few with stuff in them. That's correct, isn't it? That's what I set it as for the loot profile. 9K ACS, cockpit loot, inventory, cockpit loot, max min 1, max 5. Container types. Ah, I didn't actually set up the container type. So we had that up before, which will be my object builder cockpit. Okay, now we should be good. Control C, 11, export. Open up the folders. Replace, delete. Load up my test save. I've exported a list of all physical items the other day. Probably not super useful at the moment, but maybe? I honestly don't know how. I don't know what would be in that tux. It sounds like it could be useful, but it sounds like I don't know how to make use of it. If that makes sense. Yeah, though I'm almost kind of done with the. Well, I suppose I may not be done with these loot profiles in the future, but I'm hoping this is pretty much all the loot profiling messing around I'm going to have to do. Oh yeah, Graz, your mod does add quite a few things to that list. Necessarily, but
Fuel critical.
Alright, let's get space. Let's see if we can get loot into cockpit seats. Because if we can, that'd be nice. Ah! What the heck is going on? What was going on then? That was real weird. don't know what I did. I didn't do anything. I just teleported here. Oh, there we go. They're working as loot. Cool. That's quite nice. Alright, let's make the loot profile nice and then we're good. So, I don't think we want motors and all this other rubbish. Let's get rid of that. That's not the stuff to keep in there. What I want to do is get cash. Oh, I should add cash to a couple of these things. So I think for the oh man, no, I need to add. Let's start at the beginning. Let's start at the beginning. Let's get the profile done. So consumables. What file was that in? Close that. Close that. I do like to have a med kit in the cockpit, so let's pop a med kit in. Consumable item. Med kit. Okay. Ugly tabbing. Why? We got med kits, we got pads, we got power kits. We got space credits. Here we go. That's what I want. Amount between 100 and 400. Let's add that also to what we can get from the thingamajiggy. Generic loot, armory loot, locker loot. Right now we can get power kits, med kits, and space credits in the cockpits, but I now need to find the Clang Cola and coffee. I think we're in here. Yeah. Clang Cola. And Cosmic Coffee. Cool. So we can get a couple of coffees, a couple of colas, med kits, power kits, space credits for our cockpit seats. So now I need to set up the types of blocks. So this is going to be a few more blocks than some of the other profiles. Because there are passenger seats, there are the old school cockpits, there are the new ones, there are all sorts of things. Passenger seat large. The good thing for me here is that I don't need to worry about small grid variants, because these loot profiles are only for the large grid ships. For now, anyway. What are the other blocks called? Control station, flight seat. I've largely gotten rid of those older style of cockpit anyway, because I wasn't ever a really big fan of them. But just in case I've left them, this will give us some stuff. And what other cockpits should I be covering here? That's the large grid options. They're all small grid options. And I guess we want to go the regular industrial cockpits and helms. So cockpit, industrial, and helm. Cockpit. Helm. And industrial. Industrial large hydrogen. Hydrogen. Industrial cockpit. Large cockpit. Yeah, helms have cargo. Just like every other cockpit. I'll show you. At least I think they do. Whoops. Just flew straight past it. No, right, I'm in spectator. That's why I flew straight past it. Oh no, they don't. Helms don't have cargo. Huh. Could have sworn they did. Oh well, they don't.
Fuel
So we don't need to worry about helms. So no standing cockpit. Goodbye. Alright, so got all the blocks, got all the loot, it's all working. Minimum blocks can go from 1 to 0. We're sorted. I've got my loot profiles done. So I've done the setup for it. Now I've actually just got to put it into the prefabs. So I think the only other the only main text heavy stuff that I need to do is the chat options, which I think I will do in the next stream. Capac will be streaming in about 4 hours time. I will be back with him and Pav tomorrow evening for some more Ark. But in about 3 hours time, or a little bit less, the next Survival Impossible will be coming out. So hopefully you guys enjoy that. But yeah, Ark tomorrow. Back to more 7 days on Monday and more scavenger hunt over the weekend. So there's all that, plenty more to come. And I will see you then. Thanks for coming, everybody. Thanks for helping me out. and getting this to have some real progress this week. I'm feeling good. I didn't get it finished this week, but I will get it finished. Hope everyone has a good day.